Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm Sandra and this is Sing, Play, Create Teaching Tips. Today's video is going to be a music lesson using a song I wrote called Toss the Leaves. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the hand actions, sing the song, and some fun music and movement activities you can use in your classroom. Now's a good time to take a second and hit that subscribe button. And I have some really exciting news. Sing, Play, Create is now on Patreon. We have 3 different tiers that you can check out. Just check the description for the link and head on over there to see all the fun things we're doing on Patreon. Toss the Leaves is original little melody and it's So-Mi-Do melody. It's also a freebie in the Sing, Play, Create free resource library. Toss the leaves. Toss the leaves all around, swirling, whirling, twirling to the ground. Toss them high, toss them low, toss them up and down you go. Toss the leaves hand actions. Toss the leaves all around, swirling, whirling, twirling to the ground. Toss them high, toss them low, toss them up and down you go. When I sing the song to the children, I always like to do a little pretend play before we begin the activity. So what I'll do is I'll gather some pretend leaves and have them standing in the circle, and I'm gonna give each of them some of the pretend leaves. And we're gonna hold on to them tight so that we don't drop our leaves, and we will have them so that we can toss them in the air. I also like to encourage really big movement, toss the leaves all around. Let them have fun. Bring the tempo down nice and slow so that they can really move and sing together. The ideas that I'm sharing with you can be used across several grade levels. So some of these activities will work for even preschool, and some of them you may want to use more in the 2nd grade classroom. This song is really easy to play with some instruments, and we can do some improvisation after we finish tossing our leaves. After we sing the last line, toss them up and down you go, they could go to their instrument, pick it up, and then play their instrument and make some leaf sounds at the end of the song. Or they could just go down to the ground and stay there and play on the floor. So in the freebie, there is the melody part, so then you could have the children, whatever age you have, 2nd, 3rd graders, play the melody to the song. You can also use some body percussion to teach the song. Toss the leaves all around, swirling, whirling, twirling to the ground. Toss them high, toss them low, toss them up and down you go. Or you can use the solfege. Toss the leaves all around, swirling, whirling, twirling to the ground. Toss them high, toss them low, toss them up and down you go. So when I teach this kind of activity, I usually do all those things I just shared with you the first time, and then I reserve the instruments for the next time. So I may not pull the drum out on the first class, but I will have them pat the beat, clap the rhythms, and use body percussion either here or here, 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 doing the ostinato that I'm going to share with you. That way on the 2nd lesson, you can just review all of the things that I just showed and then jump into the instruments and really give them enough time for a full class time. Okay, so we're just going to play the beat on the drum. Toss the leaves all around, swirling, whirling, twirling to the ground. Toss them high, toss them low, toss them up and down you go. And then then I'm going to let them do a little improvisation. I'm going to do finger taps, and we could go loud and soft. We could end with a bang as they land on the ground. Just some fun ways to bring in some experimentation for them to play around on the instruments, which my students always loved that part of class. So I highly recommend you explore that. And really, there's not a right or wrong way to do it. So you can come up with your own ways to have them do some improvisation with a simple song like Toss the Leaves. Next, I would have them play the rhythm on rhythm sticks. So there's a couple different ways you could structure this activity. You could have it where everyone plays the drum and you do the drum part all together. With kindergarten, that's what I would do, with kindergarten for sure. With first grade, I would actually try to have half the class play the drum and half the class play the rhythm sticks on the rhythm, and then they could switch instruments. If they need a little more prep before you go to instruments, you can always use the clap the rhythms first before they play it on the instruments. They can practice clap the rhythms, toss the leaves all around, while the other group pats their knees, toss the leaves all around. Then get out the instruments and have them play each instrument, taking turns working together as an ensemble. And my students always love this kind of activity. They love trying to work together to make music. So it gave them lots of opportunity to do that. Now the ostinato can be played with any kind of leafy sounding. I've got some sound blocks and shakers, maracas, gyros work. Whatever you have to use those to make the leafy sounds. The ostinato is ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. Toss the leaves all around, swirling, whirling, twirling to the ground. Toss them high, toss them low, toss them up and down you go. So now that I've added in a third part, I would wait till everybody can play the beat and the rhythm of the words, and then we could have everyone practice playing the ostinato by clapping it with their hands. Then we could bring in the instruments. So I'm hoping that gives you some ideas on how to structure the activity, because it's one thing to say, play the ostinato. It's one thing to say, play the beat. Well, how does that work when you're dealing with 6-year-olds? So with 6-year-olds, we got to break it down for them. It's like they learn the sight words, right? The, so we break it down. We're just going to keep it simple. First, let's start with the beat. Now let's add the rhythm. Now let's add another part. And maybe the ostinato is for the 2nd grades. If you're a new teacher, you could use this all the way through 3rd grade. You're still at the beginning of the school year. Bring this out, do the whole thing in one class or just 2 classes to review and bring all your 3rd graders up to speed where you need them to be for some different 3rd grade material later on. This is one way to simplify your teaching, yet you're teaching all the standards. You're teaching everything that they need to know to progress and move on as they go through each grade level. Don't forget at the end of the song to let them go a little crazy with some improvisation and make lots of different sounds on the instruments to make the sounds of fall and leaves falling. If you love this activity and they're loving this activity, they're really into it, you can play a little game too. So the game is just after they learn those 3 parts, beat, rhythm, and ostinato. And I should have said 4 parts, because if you have your 2nd and 3rd graders could play the melody to the song too. So you have all these instruments going and playing this song. You could have another group that's in the middle and they're doing the actions. So the way to structure the game is, let's leave xylophones out of it for the example and just use the percussion instruments. So we're going to have a drum, rhythm stick, shaker, and a scarf, okay? So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to repeat that pattern around your circle. And the students, after you play the song, you can choose. Sometimes I like to do it 3 times in a row before we move. So we're going to do the song. Everyone's going to pick up the thing that's in front of them. The people with the scarf are going to go to the middle and do toss the leaves all around, swirling, whirling, twirling to the ground. Toss them high, toss them low, toss them up and down you go. Just keep it really simple for the scarf actions. You're going to have everybody do their part. The scarf goes in the middle. The scarf comes back, puts it down, and then everyone just moves over one instrument. That way they'll get to do all 4 parts in one class time. If you want, add that xylophone melody in. The freebie has a melody. You could print cards and have that with the xylophone so they could play the melody on the xylophone. So I hope you can see what I'm saying about creating a unit with this activity. You might need another activity like a scarf movement or just a steady beat body percussion activity or another fall song to go with these activities to fill out your class time. But this would be the meat of your lesson. This would be the music learning part of your lesson. And the other activities would support this part. So you could actually do this over 4 class times for the whole month of September or into October, or save it for November. So I'm hoping these music and movement ideas help you with your lesson planning. These are just simple ideas that I've used in my lessons, and I found they really help my students learn how to play music. But it's also a nice way to simplify the activities so that I'm not spending all my free time lesson planning. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and let's keep kids learning and moving with music.